It's been a couple weeks since I've done a coverage on the Aquatope on White Sand. I think that's because episode 17 kind of just felt like a fluff episode. It was a solid episode. It was very laid back. It was kind of just a good way to get the characters to connect really personally. And that didn't really have much to talk about. I mean, besides the fact that, Marina looked really cute in her casual outfit. And we found out that apparently Kukuru is terrible at massages, even though it seems like his grandparents tried to, I guess, humor her by making her think that she's good at giving massages. That's why he had a massage chair. I also had a feeling that they were trying to ship Kuya with Chiyu, because he was kind of pretty buddy with Chiyu's son, so could be a little bit of an end there. And while 18 didn't really provide too much new stuff, we did have a little bit of a hint of something that I really want to talk about that happened at the end of the episode. So a lot of the focus on this episode really zoomed in on Akari. As we find out, Akari is obviously a part-timer. She's not really fully in the marketing. And also that she doesn't really have a passion. She doesn't have something that she loves to do. And a lot of focus in this episode is on the idea of loving what you do, but also on the idea that loving it doesn't necessarily mean that you're always going to love it. There's going to be things difficult within something that you love doing that is a job, and that it still has its difficulties. This is where I felt like, especially at the beginning of this episode, it felt like they were trying to push a very rough narrative, despite it not being that big of a deal. As we have an idea from Akari to do a cosplay event is accepted, it seems like Kukuru really wants her to actually take it on as the leadership. And she's like, no, it's not. It's all right. I mean, I don't love this stuff as much as you guys do. I think you'll do a great job. And this bothers Kukuru enough that she has to go to Fuka to say, man, maybe I shouldn't have pushed that on her. It's like, we don't have to make this a thing. It wasn't that big of a deal. This was kind of I don't know, it's not a big deal, but at the same time, it felt like they were trying to overblow something just to make a strong narrative, and it's like, this wasn't a really big conversation here. It's not that big of a deal. Though still, the aspect of Akari not having a passion, and possibly eventually discovering a passion, is interesting still nonetheless. We also had a lot of revisiting of Kukuru's desire to get to becoming an attendant again, as they kind of question, hey, don't you still want to be an attendant? And her saying, look, I'm focused on marketing now, but yet still with Fuka, she's like, I still want to be an attendant. I hate the fact that I'm doing marketing. But yeah, this whole event is on cosplaying to do an event. And at first it was kind of just fish outfits, but then eventually it turned into some of them being pirates, some of them being mermaids, and some of them just having fish outfits. Getting stickers for the children to get a plushie if they get all the stickers. A nice little fun event that eventually kind of sparks, again, some love in Akari for the actual fish. But obviously the big thing happened at the end. I think I've mentioned several times, especially on my live streams, I think I also mentioned on our First Impressions podcast, that I felt like this show is kind of in desperate need of a focus. Obviously, the first core of this series has always been around save Gama Gama, save Gama Gama. We have to save Gama Gama. The moment that they lost Gama Gama, it turned into, okay, now we're working at Tengara, and never really having an overall focus, which isn't necessarily a thing that's needed, especially in a slice of life. Often slice of lives don't really have a primary target that they have to focus on, but it is nice to have some sort of focus. And I think the series kind of lost that with the loss of Gama Gama. And so I was kind of hoping for that. Like I'm starting to crave them to have some sort of focus. And I thought that the eventual conclusion of this particular core was probably going to be not so much them rebuilding or building a new Gama Gama, especially as we got to like episode 15 or whatnot. I figured it was probably more focused on possibly taking over Tengara, as we have obviously the Gama Gama faction that was building up. And it seems like at the end of this episode, we got a hint of that. As we find out that they're apparently opening up a new section in Tengara as a celebration for their first anniversary, and Tetsuji, Kukuru's boss, comes to her and says, you're going to be head of it. Like, you're going to lead this new section. And now, it's like, I know it's not going to be as obvious as, okay, here's the new section, it's called literally Gama Gama. It could be. But this is the chance. This is the chance that Kukuru has in essentially, eventually becoming the head of Tengara, is that she's going to build her own aquarium. And I think that's a nice... There's two sides of me right now. One side is this is her chance to build something, show that she can lead an entire section and eventually take over Tengara. Or the idea of building a subset within Tengara that has the feeling of Gama Gama that will then instill that inspiration of what Gama Gama had. Because the thing that's always been looming in the back, I mean, the whole subject matter of the first core was save Gama Gama because it had this special attribute to it. That people that came there seen visions of things that are troubling them, whether it be somebody lost or something like that. And I always felt like that symbolism of that spell or that aspect in that Gama Gama was the Kijimuna. It was this little creature guy that walks around all the time that seems like it's completely been all but forgotten about at this point. And I always kind of felt like that whole aspect of Gama Gama was some sort of spell that he was putting on people. And there's this kind of thought process that eventually he'll slowly walk all the way over to the Tengara aquarium and then right into the section that Kukuru is creating, giving us that feature, that aspect now within Tengara, but in the area that Kukuru herself creates. Because the question mark is, what exactly is going to be this new section of Tengara? Is it going to be just whatever she wants to put into it? Is it going to be themed? Is it going to be certain fish? We obviously already have penguins. We have sharks. This place is huge, and it's obviously created to house pretty much most all fish life. So what's going to be so special about what Kukuru creates? And the only thing I can think of is possibly just things that are more difficult to take care of, things that require more attention, because that was obviously the thing that her grandfather was so special at, is that he knew how to kind of help people with ushering in special types of fish that require extra care. But I still wonder, like, it's not as if she's going to create a Gama Gama over there because it's just going to have the same fish and penguins and everything that's everywhere else. But I do think she's going to set the tone within that area. And I think that tone is going to be different. It's a big question mark. Like I said, I don't necessarily think it's going to be something of her own, because it has to fit a theme that's not already in Tengara. But I think that's going to be that opening that she needs to have her own aquarium that she can't have anywhere else. So it'll be interesting where it goes. But that's my thoughts on where it's going. I like it. It can't come any sooner because we're literally almost done. We're like 6 episodes out from the ending, so it definitely needs to push something. We're already 3/4 into the series, and I kind of hope that we get some sort of really solid, I guess, payoff for losing Gama Gama in the end. So that's my thoughts. Hope you guys enjoyed this impression. If you did, leave a like down below. Comment. Let me know what you thought of the whole situation. What do you think she's going to do? Is she going to build a Gama Gama? Is she going to kind of bring in this Kijimuna into Tengara? Get those visions re-sparking in this particular aquarium? Let me know. Again, as always, subscribe if you haven't already. Share this video if you can. Support us on Patreon if you can. We definitely appreciate everybody that does. Links are in the description. And y'all take care.